sent some shit, so be working on some amen shit. Yeah, club in the morning, off like 2. Sip champagne when we talk about views. Ain't cut like us, we stuck in the trap. Steak ain't rare, so we sending it back. All of my brothers are rare, can't cap. The money was quick, now we sending a few. I'm down by the 100, we starting to shoot. I hit 21, just watch how we move. PR in my blood, no, I ain't no thug. Now we in the club, we threw a dub, now we on the move. Ain't no plug, I hit this
We are
fool.
back
We
on
send a shot, now we
the
send a few.
Genuine episode. We're on 5, part 2, right?
No, we're on 6.
We're on 6, and we're
Damn.
flying. We're flying through these episodes. Episode 6, part 2. Cool. So we want to give our 2 cents on dating.
I hate it.
This is not kind of like real advice, but it's just our kind of 2 cents on it. But what would you guys give people, boy, man, woman, tips on dating and taking it serious? Because I know nowadays I feel like they're just in it to have fun and they're not really doing much.
Okay, I'm gonna make my piece about this. Okay, I think that girls should have more game.
Damn. Why
More
is
game.
it the first thing?
God, dude,
Because I think that women,
Shots
speak for
fired.
your own kind. You know what I'm saying? Talk, cause this is the problem. You guys are enablers, and you don't tell each other what you're doing wrong. You just hype each other up and act like it's all good, and then the dumb shit that you know is dumb, you just laugh with them about it, and so nothing ever gets better, and you only can speak on women, and that's crazy, cause I'll speak on both. I know what women and men are doing wrong, personally, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Talk to us.
But mostly I feel like if I'm gonna start dating someone, right, it's always been guy chases a girl, which is proper, that's a proper way. But I think girls should have a little bit more game to kind of show us that you're also interested.
Yeah.
Because we, men, have been chasing women that usually aren't, when we chase them, they're not really, whether they're interested or not, we don't know, are you into me or not? And they kind of just, have us lingering.
So let me
for
ask
long.
you this. When it comes to women, what would you consider is proper game for a woman to have?
Just being able to ask a question back is enough for me at this point.
Yeah.
Asking a question, how's your day, rather than, how are you doing, good morning, what's going on? Instead of us putting so much effort, not even know if they're interested in us, and if they don't respond back to us properly, we're like, okay, well, she doesn't like me. It's constant chasing. So I feel like with different girls, I'm constantly chasing, but I'm never getting that amount back if they're even into me.
Yeah, kind of to add on, it's always on dates that I've been on, I'm asking all the questions because I'm curious. I want to get to know you, kind of see what you're into, what you're not. But I always get that and you versus ask me something you're curious about to know me more. But
Basically.
So as a man, and you're in a position to be able to lead and things like that, how do you navigate those things? Are you vocalizing them? Are you actually saying, hey, I'm not sure if you're really interested in me, I don't want to press you if you're not, but what are you feeling? What are you thinking? Are you clarifying, or are you just keeping on with confusion and letting it go on? Because if you are, then at that point, whose fault is it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if she's not asking no questions, are you setting the tone for it to be like, all right, I've been asking you questions for, the past 20 minutes, what do you want to know? Ask me some questions. What do you want to know about me? Or what do you really, look for? Are you leading for her to have the opportunity and the space to do that, or are you just expecting her to know that that's what you want her to do?
I mean, isn't that without saying, if we're courting, right? If we're recording, right? And we're into each other, we're texting each other good morning. I mean, they have multiple options. Women have multiple options more than men. That's why we're constant, on my experience.
Okay.
But this is my experience. Access to certain things. I've heard this saying, that it's a weird saying. If we go into the club right now, and I say, hey, who wants to hang out after this? They'll look at me and what the hell is this guy talking about? But if you did it, they'd be like, hey, what's up? I'm with it, I'm with it.
But in that, let me just say this. Women maybe do have more options, but men have more quality options. There's a quantity versus quality thing going on here where it's yeah, there are maybe a bunch of guys in my DMs or a bunch of guys throwing themselves at me or whatever, but at the same time, which one of them is actually bringing substance to the table, that's something that I'm interested in or that I can build with, you know what I mean? And when you compare it in that way, we're dealing with the same pool, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're dealing with the same thing. I have limited options too, just like you do.
Yeah.
agreed.
Yeah.
And kind of back to the unspoken communication.
Yeah, that's a big one.
There's unrealistic kind of expectations, cause not everybody knows what you know. So
Yeah.
you can't just be assuming that, hey, I'm waiting for you to ask me, I'm not even being vocal about it, so.
You have to live by that, common sense isn't common kind of thing, especially when it comes to dating, because it's like, if you're not building a solid foundation when it comes to the communication in the very beginning, then what can you expect when you get to the harder things? Like, this is easy, just getting to know each other, you know what I mean? But when it comes to things where we're disagreeing, and we already have proven that we don't know how to communicate when we are getting to know each other,
Yeah,
how do you expect that to succeed, you know?
Yeah, no,
that's
agreed.
very deep. Damn.
Yeah.
I wish every person thought like that. That's very deep, bro. I love it.
Yeah. I know I have friends and stuff, but like when people kind of court for some time, do you think getting married after like let's say a few months is
Like
good,
compression.
bad, or do you think there's like a time frame for like, hey, should you even be able to live with someone before you get married to kind of know like, hey, this is how it's gonna be?
You know, me personally, I've never lived with a man, I've had several serious relationships and I've dated or whatever, but that's not really my thing. I'm more traditional, I don't have any kids. A lot of the people around me at my age, they're like amazed by that, but I don't wanna have kids unless I get married, and I don't wanna get married unless like I'm sure that this is the person that I wanna do life with, And everybody does things differently. So as far as there being a time frame for getting married, I've met people that dated for 1 week and got married and they stayed together 50 years,
Yeah.
I've met people that dated for 10 years and got married and got a divorce the next year, So there's no cookie cutter way that everybody's gonna be able to fit into.
I kind of also want to mention, kind of talking about that too. The dating styles now versus back then.
Yeah.
Back then, there was no social media. You
Yeah.
really had to go out of your way to kind of reach out to somebody, but now you can just find them on social media, send them a quick DM, but do you think it's gotten better or worse?
Stop worse. You say that.
I just think it's different. I don't know if it's any better or any worse, but depending on what your experience is, if your experience was, writing people's phone number down on a piece of paper in a club, then you might be like, oh man, that was way harder, it was way worse. These new kids have it easy. But if you're dating how we're dating, then it's like, oh, this makes it harder because everybody can just slide in your DMs and whatever, so it really just depends on your perspective. But me personally, again, I'm more traditional, so I've never once been on any dating apps or sites or
Really?
anything like that. I don't even know how to make a profile on any of those
Damn.
things. Like, the most that I've ever done is maybe be like in a travel group on like Facebook or something like that, where people are like single folks traveling and, something like that. But other than that, like, yeah, and
Have you been on a cruise before, like a dating cruise or something like that, or? Like
I've been on a cruise, but I was just with a friend,
Yeah.
we didn't, nothing like dating or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
about you? How's the dating scene now versus
I
back
fucking
then?
hate
'Cause
it,
I remember
bro.
back in the day, dude, I had a call, the dad would answer.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd be sweating it.
The
But
house phone.
Yeah.
the house phone, man.
Someone
was
else
a
answered?
word, something that these kids don't know nothing about.
Right.
But yeah, man, I feel like now it's a little bit tougher, because like you said, let's say you are talking to somebody, but they're at a club and maybe somebody else, they can easily get their social media. It's not even more of a phone number. You can just do it any which way to at least get your foot in the door, and then from there just kind of take it.
Yeah, the follower thing, I feel it's just like another follow. Hey, follow me. Like,
Yeah, super easy
Yeah.
kind of little concept.
I've
Follow
never
me,
done it.
that's like an invitation right there,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey, follow me, that means that you now have a way to connect to me, and
Yeah.
if you wanna like pursue it, then you have a way to do that, you can send me a message, you could strike up a conversation or whatever.
I've never done that in my life. I've never approached anyone. I just can't. I don't got the confidence. I got LC, low confidence. When it comes to, I have like,
You
I
can't
feel,
just make up.
no, I swear, it's low confidence. I can't pull up on a girl because then I feel like I'm awkward. And I've done it. I felt kind of awkward a little bit, but it was like, I'm not trying to pick up on you. I'm just trying to be
I've
close.
shot my shot at someone's
Yeah.
DM before.
Yeah. How did that go?
Yeah.
I mean, one time it was funny because I told you I was in the travel group for, single people. And so, me and this guy were going back and forth and, but it seemed like I don't know, I just couldn't tell like what it was, you know, so I went in the group and I actually made a post and I told them, I was like, can someone please tell, and I tagged him, tell him to convince him to take me out on a date already, like, we just been going back and forth, and you know, like, that's just about as forward as it can get, you know?
Oh, that's funny.
Fuck.
Yeah. All right, well, we're gonna take a quick break, but thank you guys for staying tuned. Go ahead and like, comment down below, we'll be right back.
My bad.
I'm not a tiger.
Somebody said.
Black Eagle.
Zay told me he sent some shit, so been working on some amen shit. Yeah, club in the morning, off like 2. Sip champagne when we talk about views. Ain't cut like us, we stuck in the trap. Steak ain't rare, so we sending it back. All of my brothers are rare, can't cap. The money was quick, now we sending a few. I'm down by the 100, we starting to shoot. I hit 21, just watch how we move. PR in my blood, no, I ain't no